So we had a leaf. We zoomed in on a section of the leaf. We saw the mesophyll cells, right? And we also saw chloroplast. Going back. This is what I'm talking about. You see the mesophyll cells. These are the biggest ones so far, right? We need the second smallest. Then you also see the chloroplast on here. Zoom in on the chloroplast. And then that chloroplast, when you zoom in on the chloroplast, what do you see? You see the granule. So you have the granule next. Then you zoom in on the granule, you have the thylakoid. Then you zoom in the thylakoid, you have the chlorophyll. So what is the second smallest? Yes, E. Thylakoid is the second smallest. First smallest is the chlorophyll. This is the largest. So are we good? Anybody needs me to repeat anything? So are we okay with the structure so far? Yes, okay. So now we're gonna look at what's happening here. Photosystem is defined as a large protein. And I said there are proteins found on here on the thylakoid membrane. And then this photosystem contains a pigment molecule. The pigment molecule that I mentioned, 3, chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, and carotenoids. Those are 3 pigment molecules that I mentioned in this class. There are a lot more. So pigment molecules such as chlorophyll are embedded into this photosystem. We have 2 photosystems, photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. Not us, I mean in this process. So we can't do that. We can't just lay in the sun and make ATP. So this is pretty great. The plants can do that. So now that we know where photosynthesis happens, so we're going to look at details, how it happens. So what's going to happen in this process. There is 2 types of reactions. There's light independent and there's light dependent. So photo part is light dependent, and this is known as a light reaction. It needs light, basically. So this is also known as light reaction. Okay, this is light dependent reaction. This is a light reaction. This is light dependent reaction. Synthesis part. So synthesis part is dark reaction. This is light independent. Now, this doesn't mean it happens at night. It happens during the day. It just doesn't use light. I need more space. So synthesis part is this. Light part is this. So this is light dependent reaction. It's going to need light. Dark reaction or synthesis part, it's not going to need light. It happens during the day, but it does not use light. That's what it means. It does not use light. So during this light reaction, light hits the photosystem. That's going to excite the electron. And right now, I just want you to notice what's going in and what's coming out. So what's going in, it's taking electrons from the water. And what's coming out is oxygen. Oxygen is the byproduct from the light reaction. What's being produced is ATP. So ATP is the energy molecule, energy currency. Now it can just stop here. It doesn't need to go any further. It made the energy already. But what happens when there's no light? Then it still needs food. So what it's going to do, it's going to continue and it's going to do this carbon reaction or the synthesis part. So what's coming out of this, what's going in this is the H2O and the carbon dioxide and the light. And what's coming out is oxygen, and ATP is the product. And also, I'm not going to tell you the full form. All I need you to know is another molecule that's called NADPH. That's what's coming out as well. This NADPH is a final electron carrier. It's like Uber that electron takes to go to the final destination. So electron takes the Uber, gets to this part, the dark reaction, NADPH is used in these dark reactions. So what's coming out is ATP, energy, and NADPH. That's the electron carrier. So this is NADP plus, and that's when it gains the electron, it's called NADPH. That's what's gonna go into this. So this is just a summary. I haven't gone in detail. So let's first look at the light reaction. Light reactions happen in thylakoid. We said the water needs to go in and the light needs to go in. ATP and NADPH are produced. Oxygen is a byproduct, just like a waste product. And that is true because in the beginning, cyanobacteria produced as a waste product. That's what's called or caused the extension, and then we started using it for breeding. Everybody understands what's going in and what's coming out of the photo part of the photosynthesis so far. Yes. So if we zoom, now we're going to zoom in here. We're going to look at the membrane. We're going to look at the phospholipid bilayer and what's happening there. This is going to look complicated if you're looking at it first time. This is what's happening. We defined electron transport chain last time as a series of reactions. That's what it is, what this is. This is electron transport chain. And this is a thylakoid here. This is the thylakoid space. This is the membrane where I said a lot of molecules are found, and that's what gives it surface area. And then outside is the stroma, the fluid. So photosystems are part of electron transport chain. It says excuse me. It says photosystems because there are two. There is photosystem 2 and there's photosystem 1. Photosystem 2 comes first. Photosystem 1 comes second. The reason this is named photosystem 1 is because this was found first. It comes second though in this step. So photosystem 2 is found here on the thylakoid membrane. Then you have some other molecules in between. There are multiple, like I said. And then you have photosystem 1 here. And then the last final electron acceptor is NADP plus. That's going to make NADPH. So let's look at this, what's happening. The light energy, it's going to hit this chlorophyll molecule and it's going to excite this electron. Once the electron gets excited, it gets to put in high energy state. It's high in energy. Then it starts jumping through these molecules. As it goes through, it's going low in energy state. It's going low in energy state. And the energy is being used to pump these hydrogen ions inside the space, inside the thylakoid space. So as it's losing the energy, it's using the energy to pump these hydrogen ions inside the thylakoid space. This is like a balloon. So it keeps filling it up with hydrogen ions. Another thing we talked about was concentration gradient. You can see it's high in concentration here. It's low in concentration here. It's moving against the concentration gradient, therefore it needs energy. So it's filling this up like a balloon. And then it gets to photosystem 1. Now it has no energy. It gets excited again. Light energy hits it. goes through some other processes. This is a very complicated, this is simplified version. There's like a lot more molecules in between. And then it gets to the destination. Final destination is NADPH plus the Uber, and that's the final electron acceptor. It accepts this electron and takes it to the synthesis part of the photosynthesis, to the dark reaction. So where is this electron coming from? This electron is coming when coming from water. When hydrogen and water are oxygen are splitting, oxygen is produced as a byproduct, and these electrons are getting replaced through water. So that's where these electrons are coming from. Another thing I mentioned the last time very briefly was ATP synthase. I said this is like a balloon. It's gonna, keep filling it with these hydrogen ions. And these hydrogen ions, because there's high concentration here, they want to leave. They don't want to stay here because there's a lot of them. They want to move down the gradient. They start leaving through something called ATP synthase. This is like an engine. It's like very, very, nice how it works. It's really awesome if you were to, see it. So it's like an engine. It's going to take the hydrogen ion and pump it outside in the stroma, in the liquid space. And when that happens, it's going to take ADP and a phosphate group, and it's going to stick it together. It's going to make ATP. So those are the products. You got NADPH, you got ATP, you got oxygen as a byproduct. Any questions so far? You guys followed me? Yes? Okay. So the photosystems, they're part of the electron transport chain. This is the light part that we talked about. Light energy into ATP and NADPH. Photosystem 2 produces ATP, light energy transfer to reaction center. This is just writing down what I just said. Electrons are ejected, water is split to replace the electrons, and oxygen is the byproduct. And then ejected electrons move down the transport chain. Hydrogen ions are pumped into the thylakoid space. Hydrogen ions leave through ATP synthase, this engine here. When that happens, it's going to take ADP and phosphate, put it together, make ATP. So the product, photosystem 1, is producing NADPH. And energy from light again ejects the electron into transport chain. Electrons get reduced to NADPH. So gain of electrons is reduction. Loss of electrons is oxidation. So this is what we covered so far. We covered the light part. I'm going to go in the dark part now, but before I do that, I want to know again if there are any questions on this. No, I would say still go back and read and do your homework. Your homework might have some questions that help you understand it a little bit better. So we're going to look at carbon reaction next. Also, I want to show you stomata under electron microscope. So this is what it looks like under electron microscope. This is not possible through light microscopes. So those are the openings. This is what it looks like under light microscope. And this process we learned osmosis. It's happening in the stomata. If there's high salt concentration inside versus outside, the water is going in. If it's higher outside, then water is leaving. So it's happening here, osmosis. Osmosis, again, is the diffusion of only and only water.